Okay, we are recording, and I am so excited, Kimberly, to be chatting with you today. I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to just come talk about your experience inside of Design to Profit. I don't want to take up too much of your time, so let's dive all the way in. I
Sure.
would love to start with just having you introduce yourself. Tell us, who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Amber, for this opportunity. I really appreciate it. My name is Kimberly Holmes. Holmes like Sherlock. A lot of people ask me, is it Holmes like where you live or Holmes
Uh-huh.
with an L? It's the Holmes with an L. And I am a brand strategist and web designer from Allentown, Pennsylvania. If you're familiar with Pennsylvania and you know a little bit of the history of the US, I am about an hour north of Philadelphia. So that's where I live. I grew up there. It's a small town, USA, place that I love, has a lot of history. And that's just really who I am. And yeah.
Love it. I'm from a super small town as well. Like Bunn, North Carolina. Not a lot of history, but like so small. We didn't even have stoplights in our
Oh,
town.
wow. Now there you go.
Yeah, so I definitely love that small town
Yeah.
kind of this background. So how long have you been designing for?
I've actually been designing since 1999, believe it or not. It's like a whole long story, but to kind of, bring it down into a brief summary, my parents, we had gotten a computer, and my parents said, "You're not allowed to be on that computer unless you're making money and learning a skill." They're like, "You're not going to sit
Well,
all day
I
on
love that.
AOL chat." Yeah.
I need to implement that with my kids.
Yes, it's a good thing. It really is. And the great thing about my parents is, they've always let me kind of explore things I like and kind of try out different things. So at that time, I was trying different things, and I ended up landing in HTML, a coding kind of free course that I had found, and I really enjoyed it. And so I kept it up from there, and then I just began designing. Of course, initially for free, when you're a kid, you just gotta do whatever. And then after I realized I could actually make money from it instead of going to work at the local amusement park like my other friends were, I was like, well, I'm gonna do this instead because I'm not gonna be out in that heat trying to mellow everything about me and everything like that. And so I did that instead.
So cool. I know about that East Coast heat too. It is.
Yes. Yeah.
um, so you started designing at a really young age.
Mhm.
Yeah. So tell me when. So when did you kind of shift into it being more of your business, like a business?
In I would say like solidly around 2000, 2008, 2009. Honestly, it was just that I had gotten so tired of corporate work culture. I found that while I could thrive in any place because I know how to do that, I just really didn't want to be in places that just drained me so much. So the last job that I had taken, it was a lot of drama and everything like that.
Yeah.
And then around 2010, I started setting things up around 2008, and then in 2010, I was like, okay, now's the time, and now's when I really should like focus on my design business as a business for real, and not just as like a freelancer more so.
Yeah.
So around 2010 was when I really took things into like full-fledged everything, and I'm glad I did because it's been a rewarding experience, very rewarding. And as a self-taught designer too, it's been an interesting journey, but one I am so happy that I've had.
Absolutely. Like I get the whole self-taught journey. There's so many emotions that go into it because you don't have that formal training and the
Hmm.
imposter syndrome and just like all the things. Uh,
Yeah.
so you joined Design to Profit in 2019. So there's about a 9 year span between when you officially started your business to when you enrolled into the program. Can you tell me what types of struggles or issues you found yourself having prior to joining the program?
Yeah, absolutely. I can tell you that like the main struggle for me was really like understanding how what I did was something specific.
Mhm.
Like I knew I was good at what I did. I was kind of thankfully able to overcome the imposter syndrome. Um, I would say not quickly, but that wasn't really as much of a thing for me. And I think that was because I was surrounded by so many other self-taught designers as I was starting.
Yeah.
But for me, it was just like, well, what's different between me and anybody else? Like, I was like, I'm good at what I do. I know tons of other designers who are really good at what they do, and our clients are happy, they're getting results, So I didn't really, my struggle was not knowing what differentiated me from everybody else, especially as a female of color. I kind of felt like it was like the time where, you were hearing more about females of color, like climbing up the different ranks in coding and in all these other spaces. So I really didn't like, I didn't really have an idea of, okay, what makes me special versus
What's my
anybody else. Yeah, I didn't know what my secret sauce was. I didn't know, like, and I was like, I'm good. I can tell you that
right?
much.
Well, that's such a great point because I hear a lot of times, like, well, the market is saturated, and why should someone
Mm,
choose me? And then when you kind of layer on being self-taught, it's heavy. Um,
yeah.
so I can totally relate with that. Can you tell me how it felt? Like trying to figure that out on your own, trying to figure out what made you decide.
Horrible.
What about it was so
Horrible.
horrible?
Well, for me, I'm a type of person that, when I try things and when I really give my all, I find that generally I will meet my goal. Like I've been that way for as long as I can remember. Like I'm not one of those people that I may struggle internally, but I find that the outward actions of things come to me easily. So having that part of the struggle, like trying to find clients who were the right match, trying to get people to actually work with me versus, other for different reasons. Like that was really my main thing. Like I would do all the actions, or what I felt like were all the actions, and I wasn't getting like what I was used to getting back. I'm like, okay, this I don't know about this part, because again, I was so used to being able to do the things that should have been done and get the results that should have been received from that. But then with this, it was different. I was finding that for most of the time when I was designing, it just was that effort wasn't really matching. And that was really my main thing. And that was probably definitely the most frustrating thing, because I'm also a person who, when I put my effort into things, um, I like to know that I'm putting effort into something good and we'll get something good back. So
Right.
that was also like the thing that I was like, oh boy, this is, really challenging here. And I also didn't know how to fix it. So that was the other problem. I was like, well, how, I tried this thing and that's still not working. Try this other thing. And so, that was my main thing, like putting the effort in, not getting back what I thought I knew I should have been getting back for that effort, and then not knowing how to fix it.
Oh yeah. That's so huge. But I love though that you realized that what you were doing, the effort that you were putting out was not yielding the results that you wanted. And you knew
Hmm.
something like you had to do something different. I had a conversation earlier where um most people do the same thing over and over again, yet expect different results, which is
Hmm.
the definition of insanity. So
Right.
like it's great that you identified, hey, there's something going on here and I'm not sure how to fix it. So you mentioned, you were trying different things. Did you ever join a program, or you mentioned you took the coding course a while ago, but had you
Mhm.
invested in a coach or anything prior to Design to Profit to help you try to solve this problem?
You know what? Not specific to design, and that was really something that Design to Profit stood out for me for, because I kind of thought, well, maybe the missing link is like business coaching, like maybe I don't know enough about business things, and so I had tried business coaches, but I found that that was a different industry more so, like, and so I had pieces then of like, okay, this works, but
Yeah.
I'm still a designer, so what do I do with this other part? So I tried business coaches, and again, some of it worked, but there was definitely that missing element of how to be a creative within that space. And so that was really what attracted me to your program, because I was like, oh wait, this is actually for designers. Wait, I was like, wait, okay, let me listen.
Yeah, I love that. And so it's interesting that you mentioned kind of like you had some of the pieces, but there was still something missing. Um,
Yes.
yeah. So tell me, so with Design to Profit, like how was the process different than working with the other coaches? Obviously, we're both designers, it was specific
Mhm.
for designers. Um, was there anything else about like my program, my process versus the other coaches, their processes and things like that?
Yeah, actually, for me, the thing that I think helped me the most, well, one of the things was the separation of the coaching and the Q&A,
Mhm.
especially for how I am. I'm the type of person that um, I have questions after I get information. Like, so usually I need a couple days to think about what I heard and and kind of analyze that and say, okay, well, this is my question here then, and this is what I'd like to know about this. So that was so helpful because like it took pressure off to be like, okay, Q&A is right after the coaching. What do you want to know? Because normally I'd be like, I'd have some super generic question
Yeah.
that's not really going to help me in any way, if I get an answer. So that was something very, very specific to your program that I really liked. And again, like going in, I didn't know that. So when it was happening, I was really, really happy about that because I felt like, wow, I can actually take in the information, know what I learned, and then see how it applies to what I'm doing, and then see where the gap is that I need an answer to these questions. And so that was so, so helpful. And then, of course, just the time that you would take with, answering questions and all of that. I didn't feel rushed. It didn't feel like, it just felt very personable. And I really, for me, that's something that's also important as well. So those two things were really what stood out for me and helped me a great deal.
Yeah. It's so interesting too because you need that time. Like we're creatives, we have to process and digest
Yes.
things and let it marinate and like wake up in the middle of the night with that question. That
Yes. Yes.
I'm so glad that was helpful for you because it's not just about the content. It's not just about, what it is, the topics that we're covering. It's making sure that you actually understand it and you have time to think about it
Yes.
and let it process and then come back with those questions. So I'm so glad that was helpful for you. I want to know as you got the content, you got the coaching, you were getting your questions answered. Can you tell me or kind of take me to the moment when you realize like, oh wow, this is working. This is helping me to solve that problem that I was struggling with in the first place.
Yeah, it's actually funny because I was just discussing this with my brother last week about the program. He's a musician and a singer, but he is shifting that into more business structure.
Mhm.
So we were just talking about like different things and things we've learned over the last year. And I was like, yeah, you remember that program that I was in, and what I learned there. Um, but really, what it was the moment when I was using the new process based on, I created a whole new process based on what you taught us in the program, and I was using it with the first, client from that point, and they were so elated. They were happy with the result, with how everything was going. And the thing that really made me go, okay, yeah, this is it, was that I didn't have like anxiety over everything. Everything was so smooth. I felt just like it was really like the process was just like so peaceful. There were no revisions, like nothing. Like, and I was just like,
That
this is
is
what I'm talking about.
yes.
Yeah. And so that was really the moment for me. I was like, okay, I knew I made the right decision, but seeing it, in actual like real time, that was what let me know, like, yeah, this was a super good decision. And even now, I'm working with my second client in this new process, and they are just having a ball. And I'm just like I said, I'm at peace. I feel like everything, is where it should be, and I don't feel like I'm like running around like trying to answer questions here and do this there and all of this other kind of thing just to make sure it's working for them. And so that's really what just settled everything in for me. I was like, oh wow, I can kind of just relax and do what I do and do it well.
Great.
Yes.
That is so great. And like people don't realize that it is the process,
Hmm.
that allows you to create just a level of peace in your business. It's you don't
Yes.
have to be all over the place or spinning your wheels or trying to piece things together when you do understand how to actually create a process that caters to your clients. Uh,
Yes.
so I that's so great. Tell me, so prior to this, you were feeling just what was the word you used? It's on the tip of my tongue. It's not. It was disturbing, distressing. It was some D word.
Probably, yeah, probably stressed. Probably that's what I said.
So,
Stressed.
so that's how you were feeling, and now you've completely transformed the way that you're running the business side of your
Hmm.
business. Um, and you're feeling peaceful and you're feeling at ease, and it sounds like excited about it.
Yeah.
How does life look like now that you're not stressed out over your business, or you're not just kind of all over the place or frustrated or
You know what? It's actually really, really good. Because like I've had, again, from doing the business part of things and having, that aspect, I've had, a plan as far as, where I want to be financially, where I want to be in the next year and all those kinds of things. And now that I have the process in place to do that, I feel like, oh, okay, that's how I get there. Like, I'm like, now, okay, now I get it. And now, like, even going into this new year, even though, this year has been a challenge, um, I feel, I don't feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go into the next year and do the same thing. I feel like, okay, I know exactly what I need to do. Now I have everything, kind of linked up and I know what it is that I do next. And really, that's the thing for me is like, I was spinning my wheels, didn't know what to do next, and I was like, I mean, concepts, but I didn't know what is the actual step. And so I'm like, okay, I have the marketing plans, I have the what do they call those, like the sheets where they tell you, here's how to reach six figures and stuff like that. And I was like, fuck, how? And so now I just feel like, okay, I know what to do from here. And that's really been a piece for me that I'm like, wow, this is really cool. And then also with how you structure things in the course and what you show us, again, I feel like it's attainable. I don't feel like, oh, I have to do all of this extra work and I really got to grind and I got to hustle because that drains me. I love people who hustle and if that's your thing, that's your thing. But for me, like, if I try and hustle, I'm like, forget about it. I'll just go back and get a job.
oh my gosh, that
Yeah.
part. Like when I was hustling, that was definitely a thought that crossed my mind like once a week. Let me just get a
Yeah.
job because this is not worth it. And I love that you now feel like everything is attainable. It is
Mhm.
within your reach. It doesn't feel like something that you have to like work super hard to get to, or
Yeah.
you got to do a bunch of extra stuff. In fact, that's one of the things that we talk about in the program is how to take stuff out and
Mhm.
remove the unnecessary things, but still you know charge a certain price and get
Yes.
clients who are excited about what it is that you have to offer. So I just love that that's what you got from the program.
Yes. Yes.
I want to know if there is someone out there who's just kind of on the fence, not sure if, design to profit is the next best move for them. What would your advice to them be?
Well, I would say if you find yourself looking at Amber's content over and over again, and you even feel like there's a hint of, I think she really gets where I'm coming from, I would suggest that you enroll. And in my case, that was really what it was. I had actually told myself, like maybe 3 weeks before, um, an ad, I think it was, came across in Instagram or Facebook. I said, I really want to support women of color. I really want to, be mentored or learn more from people who resemble my background, being self-taught and all those things. And then I see your ad, and then I was like, okay, let me go look at her things, and that's when I was like, oh, I think she knows. She sounds like she knows me.
Yeah.
And so if anybody was on the fence, I'd say if they find themselves looking at your content more than 3 times, you might as well you might as well
Just
enroll,
do it.
because yeah, and and I'm one of those people too. Like I'm careful with where I put my finances and my time and my energy, and I'm real quick to be like, am I sure? Should I really? So that I did, and was really, really satisfied with the outcome. I would say if there's anybody who's super skeptical or even just like, I'm not sure, I would say go for it, because um, I'm that kind. I'm in that lane with you.
Yes, me too. I never would have known. Like that,
Yeah.
but that's
I mean, I make it fun, but yeah, I'm pretty skeptical.
but that's a great point because there's so many gurus out there and
Mhm.
coaches. And I think you are if you are doing your due diligence and not buying into everything, I think that just says a lot about you as a person and anyone else that
Mhm.
you want to make sure, like, this is your business and it's your livelihood, and you do want to make sure that you're investing in something that is actually going to do what it says it does. Because I have invested in a very expensive program. I'm talking high five figures, and it didn't do what it said it was going to do. So I
Right.
totally get that. um like, do your due diligence, trust your gut also. But
Yes.
like, it's okay to be skeptical,
Yeah.
yeah, for
Yeah. Yeah. But I would definitely say, like, if somebody's sitting on the fence about it, and like I said, if they find themselves going back to the content and to the different things that you're saying, on social media or wherever they found you, and it's resonating with them,
yeah,
I would say that it's going to be very much so worth it.
yeah, I love that. And it really is, like, you had mentioned, you kind of put it out there, like, I want to work with someone, a woman of color who gets it, and then here's my ad, right?
Yes.
You asked for it, it
Yes.
showed up. And I'm such a huge believer in, like, divine timing. You're
Hmm.
never ever going to be all the way ready to do anything, but if you feel it in your gut, and if you're, like, constantly thinking about this thing, if you
Yeah.
really want something, like, you're gonna make it happen. You're
Yes.
gonna do the work to make it happen. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm so proud of you. I'm so, like, just, I love that you dove in, you did the work, you're feeling good,
Mhm.
about your business and where you're at and who you're working with, and you don't have to
Yeah.
hustle.
Yes, yes. And one thing I will say that I also appreciate about the program and what you do is, having the access to things later as well. Like, I was actually just watching the coaching call that you did, where you were going over somebody's, offer and whatnot. And I took away so many nuggets from that. And so I really also appreciate that part about it as well. Cause I'm still, I'm still learning from it. And then that's the great thing. I'm like, okay, cool. This is really, really great.
And that's one, like, so many people be like, oh, well, I just want one-on-one, I don't like a group setting. But the thing is, you're limited with that one-on-one. You're
Hmm.
limited to your own questions and your own thoughts, your own perspective.
Yes.
As with that group setting, you get to hear other people's questions, and you get to see what they're doing and what's working, what's not working. And you're able to grow so much faster because of it. So
Yes.
I'm glad that, like, you are seeing the value in that, and you're continuing to just absorb the content so that you can continue to grow. So
Yes. Yes.
I'm excited for you, really.
Thank
Again, I appreciate you so much for taking the time. I know we're all busy. It's the end of the year, and it's crazy out here.
Yes.
Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today. Um, And if there's, is there anything else that you want to add, or if you want to share where people can find you at? I'll be sure to add a link for you for your social or
Oh,
anything
thank
like that.
you. Yes, I do want to share that I just want to say thank you to you specifically, Amber, because I know that you put in a lot of um, time and effort into making the program stand out, and it really is phenomenal. I mean, it's and I hope that you know that fully, and I hope that hearing your students tell you so helps you realize that even more. But I just want to make sure that it's said that what you're putting out into the world is really making a difference, not just for the business owners, but for everything else that those business owners touch. So I want to say personally, thank you for that, because without that, I would probably still be running around somewhere going, oh
Oh my
my God.
gosh, that just warms my heart so much because truly, truly, like deep down in my soul, like this, I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing, helping other designers to
Mhm.
to just run their businesses more effortlessly and efficiently and like a business.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I truly appreciate that. And I am just so committed to continuing to make the program better and just giving everything. Um, Everything that I have to offer, I'm an open book. And so I really do appreciate that, Kimberly.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
So much. I really appreciate this. And I will talk to you soon.
Yes, thank you.